with everything going on right now in this arc, it feels a lot like from what I've seen a lot of people talk about, and I think there has been some notes in the Shonen Jump manga that Kimetsu no Yaiba is coming to its end, which it could be. But the thing is, after the given sales, like after the huge success of the anime and the manga still skyrocketing, there's the honest possibility that they're going to convince the author to keep going beyond this. Obviously, there's been a lot of big series where the author intended them to be short, but it just ended up becoming so much bigger than what they planned. So obviously, you want popularity rolling as much as they can. The question is, how could the Kimetsu no Yaiba keep going? Obviously, right now they're fighting Muzan. Well, not him directly, his crew. And right now we have them up against what Sanemi Sanemi now in the fight with Himejima up against Upper Moon rank 1, and that's obviously a big deal because out of all the Upper Moons and all the other demons, really besides Muzan, Upper 1 is clearly the biggest breath, the sun breath, and he himself, I think, is very significant outside of others. His power, like he got a lot of lore stuff, but he's still alive, and he is, as we know, obviously powerful of the moons, and he has the potential to become something Muzan if the case needed to be that the author wanted to continue the series. Because we saw with Akaza was on the borderline of evolving to pretty much being that same level of being that Muzan was. He pretty much could probably create demons of the same caliber while having blood that just powers them and give off that same aura, that same extra hard to kill ferocity on top of everything else. And obviously Akaza's dead, Doma's dead. So now like this dude could potentially become the next one to take over if say Muzan were to die. There's obviously also the question whether or not the author wants to expand outside of Japan. We know that there are countries that exist. What was it? Upper 5, I think, mentioned stuff about France. I think there has been shown animals from other countries, and obviously the author doesn't need to go beyond what's been presented, but it's still entirely possible, if so, that she decides, well, yeah, I want to continue the series, and that's very. It's a pretty potentially like still heavy thing to give out because obviously the level of the series is just booming with level of the anime that it's been given. Obviously that's enough of an incentive if she wanted to. Good, and it would make sense because Kokushibo is not only just significant as Upper Moon 1, like I said, like First Breath, that's pretty significant. So I just wanted to get that kind of like little bit out of the way because I have been contemplating like what exactly like could happen and what exactly could still be out in the world. Like there could be other like creatures similar to Muzan, who's pretty much creating and controlling all these demons in different lands. I still think it would be really cool if the author did like their version of demons from other countries, and then maybe like each major like land had their own kind of version of Muzan, and maybe Muzan gets out of this arc alive and goes out to find the other ones. There's the questions of okay, in this one chapter is actually introduced as anyone with the mark, that the enhancing the mark on the body. I don't remember exactly what it was called off the top of my head, but it pretty much shortens your lifespan, and nobody that's had it has lived past 25. But then it's like, okay, well, you're setting up a way for Tanjiro and everyone to die, but Tanjiro's what, like he's clearly got a long ways to go, and he could easily write up this series. Like, what is that? 10 years in an anime? That could be the entire series. Like he could die in the last chapter. I don't know, but it is entirely possible to keep going if that. So I don't know. I just wanted to kind of like loom over that kind of an idea off right now because of the. I want the series to do well, but I also want it not to end when it's right now. And I actually had a conversation with someone of like, well, if they leave this arc and Muzan's not dead, then it's gonna feel like a hollow arc. No, because they took down, even if they don't take down Kokushibo, I'm pronouncing, I'm pronouncing his name, Kibo, or Muzan. I think as long as one of them survive, they could keep going because like if you don't take Muzan down, but you take down Kokushibo, well, you've taken down Kaza, Doma and Kokushibo, like the top three moons, and he's had them for what was over 100 years. So it's not like he can just pull more of them out of nowhere. He'd obviously like he would have to get really desperate. I feel like he'd have to give up a lot of his body and blood in order to like amp up another demon to like race up to their level, or like I said, go out and find others his level that exist there, because there obviously is a method that they can evolve into another level of like being like he is. So it's entirely, on the table, rather, that we could get there. So anyway, let me get to the actual chapter. I was actually really happy that I had something to speculate this chapter, because the chapter itself talking about, like, it's not nearly as, like, I want to say, like, not content heavy, like, material heavy as the last one. Last one, there was a lot of really good fighting choreography that you kind of look at and go over, and the level of detail gone into that was, I think, on a extra level than what we usually get, because he's entirely different. Like he just straight got like probably the most standout weapon out of everyone. Like we've seen some different ones. He straight just has a axe chain mace. It's so cool. But from all this, everyone's starting to meet up. We're about to have Inosuke and Kimetsu run into each other. Kenya is like he was gonna go eat some of Kokushibo's hair in order to train her. I'm wondering if eating hair will actually make him more powerful. Quality of the but with that, there's a nice little banter going back and forth, because Himejima brings up the fact that if you say like, oh, nobody that's had the mark lived past 25, well then there's an irregularity there, and that's being me because he's 27, and he's like saying like you're nervous about that because clearly there's something like special. For my case, if I'm apparently so good that I can live past this one rule, and things are getting vicious. And every single like layout of this being into that feeling again of like end game for their fight, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, if the series ends, then it ends. It's obviously up to the author, but it doesn't. And you don't have to make it like Naruto or One Piece, easily like double over the length, and just have like a longer spread out arc. Bring in like a group of demon hunters from other countries, because this is similar to like something that bothered a lot of people about Bleach. It's like they only really were in Japan, where it's like this should be a worldwide normal thing, because hollows and stuff and Soul Reapers should exist everywhere. And it should be the same with the Demon Slayers. Like maybe they just don't know about each other, but they find out there's other versions. But now it looks like we're gonna have Sanemi and Himejima just teaming up, which is gonna be pretty sick. You got Psycho Swordsman and the just absolute like behemoth muscular dude who has probably the coolest weapon in this. And what is he? The Wind Pillar, I think. Wind and is it Earth? Both translation might just be Stone. I remember being Stone, but I'm gonna go Stone. Even though now you got crazy movement Psycho dude and just big unstoppable monster man coming. And I obviously this is Upper Moon 1. Obviously this is Upper Moon 1, so he's not some pushover. But I think the double mark killers that are fully ready to die, because while he's talking to them and he's like talking about them and their mark, he's like, oh, you might die with that. It's just, as a human, you don't want to die. Hey, you can live forever. And like Kimaji was just like, excuse me, like you don't become a pillar thinking that living forever is something special. Or what was it? No, it was you don't become a pillar without the knowledge that life could end at any while doing the job. I think it was more accurate. But nice setup. The chapter felt a lot faster than the other one, but at the same time, it felt less. There was a lot more dialogue and context given about the mark, but I don't know. It didn't have that same hype levels. It was much more of the possibilities that I'm so intrigued with of what could happen. Because otherwise, what was the point of the author bringing in the fact that any of these fans up into evolve into being similar to Muzan if she didn't put that out there? Maybe she want to continue, or she didn't. I feel like she's going to, just because like the anime is gonna, as long as it gets another. I can't even say like if it gets another season. If just as it keeps up this animation, like you can do OVAs and it'll be super hype. But the manga I know is doing stellar right now, so good incentive. I I mean, even if she doesn't, I feel like she'll still have, that cred on her that she does another series. We'll have enough of a dedicated fan base that on there, even if the series like starts out pretty normal, like a lot of shonens. But I feel like with her level of like choreography staging, that she'll keep it solid. But anyway, drop a comment below. Tell me what you think, because like I said, like the chapter itself, I didn't have a lot to talk about. We got some banter. Mark was pretty, cool finding out about that. But for the most part, a lot of what my wanting to talk about in this whole like chapter is what could happen. Because even if they end this arc, I think as long as either Muzan or Kokushibo live, at least one of them lives on, they can, continue the series for another couple arcs. Obviously, like if he becomes similar to Muzan, then he's going to be able to create his own legion. And I think his would be way more dangerous because like he has that like skill of a sword, probably train them. And instead of the demons being way much more like weird fighting, they could all just have that like bladed style. Because that was the thing about Zenitsu, rival guy, that would made him dangerous. It's like he barely had been a demon, so he didn't master like was it the blood arts, but he was already that powerful just by giving a pretty strong demon hunter demon powers. Like combine them. Like imagine if he's able to convert actual pillars, or maybe go to other countries and find their demon hunters and maybe like convert them, or force conversion. Maybe not even give the option, but we'll see. Other than that, I really appreciate the thumbs up and the like button, subscribe button. Check out my other videos. I appreciate everyone subscribed and thank you for listening. Bye.